Now, next we're gonna talk about a show which actually is based off of a series, one that we grew up on back in the well, I can't say that we saw it in the 80s, but we actually had a little station called AVM Channels 416, and they were the guys that used to show the 80s series Transformers, right? This is where we were introduced to Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and all these guys, right? And then there was the movie, Transformers the movie, which was badass at the time. And then, there was the 2007 Michael Bay movie, Transformers, which I still to this day say he was born to make. This was a movie that it was his destiny to make a movie like this. Right. This was one of the biggest movies of 2007 for me. I wouldn't say it was my favorite. And I thought that it really should have won that Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. Why you give it to the Golden Compass? Anybody remember that shit? Nobody. I'm sorry. I didn't even watch it. But anyway, as we said last year with both of our reviews of Transformers the last night, Michael Bay just started shit in the bed with them sequels, boy. From Revenge of the Fallen all the way down to Last Night, which was my pick for worst movie of 2017. It was like that man just did not care. In the case of the Last Night, I'm gonna straight up say it. Well, so when we're gonna talk about like why the Last Night existed even at all, like was even the point of that? Because you get the feeling that this movie felt like he read the script for this. And for whatever reason he couldn't do it, and he, the script came out a while now, and he just say absolute fuck you to them, and he decided to just poison the well and make the Last Night. Because the Last Night contradicts a ton of stuff in this. Yes. So there's no way you could actually make a proper prequel now, because it just contradicts stuff. Yeah. And that's why I wondered why even make the Last Night. I get the feeling he just mash it up now. I don't know. Right. That's how it felt. It just felt like you don't need to make it. It was totally pointless in its existence. And then he decided, all right, well, F you. I'm going to make this to contradict all this, or just can't make a sequel. Like, it really felt like he just decided to blow up this now. Yeah, it really did have this kind of I just fuck with you because I could, because I'm Michael B. There's a kind of spitefulness to what, the Last Night was.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it does feel like a spitefulness to the fan base in general. Like, I try to really avoid the whole raped my childhood, ruined my childhood mindset with this kind of stuff. Look, it's not my material, and to tell you the truth, I don't like Transformers all that much, right? As compared to other material. But in the case of the Last Night just really went out of his way to just say, all right, we're not going to do any, where are we making this? You can't do anything else, or you had to do a sort of extra writing and work just to have this make sense. And because it was so incoherent. And then he know people care about this shit in terms of the coherency of it, that he decided to make it so incoherent. That is how it felt.
Yeah, and also there was just to add to that, it felt to me like he was just insulting the intelligence thread. Like, you're not going to say, all right, well, we all wanted to see Unicron. Remember how we loved Unicron from the Transformers movie? Okay, here's Unicron. Earth is Unicron. Take that. And on top of all that, there's a secret society that kept the whole Transformers thing secret. Yeah, and then the biggest slap to my face, Jed. And this is why, thinking about it now, after seeing Bumblebee, I was just like, Michael, what exactly you were trying to do with this? Telling the audience that Bumblebee was in World War II fighting Nazis. Yes. So, which had me thinking at the time, and still to this day, so why weren't you searching for your leader, Optimus Prime? What are you doing shooting down Nazis? What's the point?
The way how they do it is that they make it totally incoherent from the first film. And even the first film, it had stuff that was hinted that they went to Earth first, because remember, Megatron was there the entire time. Fine.
Right.
But my thing is that, you see, that's the thing, it's a kind of mean-spiritedness against nerds now. You know that nerds like this bullshit. It reminds me of the Picard sucks joke that Brian Posehn always says now. The best way to piss off Star Wars nerd is to drive in front of them and yell Picard sucks now.
Whoa.
That joke now. That's what it feel like. It doesn't feel like, Michael Bay is like, oh, well, it's just a complete fuck you to the nerds. And because he kind of dotish anyway, and he always never cared about coherence in any of his movies, he just decided, all right, I'm just going to do this in the most shitty, mean-spirited way possible now. And when the first images of this movie came out, you could tell it was a fuck you to him. This is but the second them first 10 minutes shot was like, wow, we couldn't get this 10 years ago, Jared.
I know.
That was my the first fucking thing that come out of my mouth was, yeah, they couldn't get it. We couldn't get this 10 years ago. We couldn't get this in 2007, 11 years ago. What the fuck? Like, they totally nail nothing. And here's the thing, I'm going to straight up say it. There is nothing in this film, not a single thing I think in this film that couldn't have existed 10 years ago. Right? Nothing. I can't see what special effect they could have pulled off in this, that, because nothing in it looking particularly better or different. Like
what we saw from back in 2007.
Yeah, nothing in it. It's just an aesthetic choice. And it's like, wow, Michael Bay really don't care, boy. Like, he really do business. And again, I try to not be one of those Michael Bay raped my childhood type of people, because I'll admit I'm not a big Transformers fan, right? And a lot of the Transformers lore is kind of trash anyway. Like, it has some good lore, some good world building in some of the versions, and then other versions is complete nonsense. Even the stuff, especially the stuff in the 90s.
Yeah, especially with Beast Wars, when they try to tie it back to Transformers and this whole time thing and end of the world stuff. I was like,
Beast Wars was pretty yeah, Beast Wars was pretty awesome for me.
It was. Except when they went to the whole end of the world shit, I was like, what? But then that, I mean, I fuck with Beast Wars, right? Beast Machines, no, that do exist. Although I kind of fuck with the theme song, but moving along.
No, yeah, Beast Wars was great storytelling for me, but stuff like the Gen 2, Gen 3 stuff, the Quintessence stuff, all of that extra stuff in the overarching universe, and the stuff that was in the early Marvel comics, those were bad. Those were kind of bad. And I don't really care that Michael Bay decided to do his own thing. I still generally defend the first film for the most part. The second film, I
still love the first movie, just in terms of just summer blockbuster goodness, right? And it was fun. It was fun, and that's what. It was that balance that Michael Bay unfortunately could not figure out with 2 and 3, and then he just figured, you know what? Well, everybody's going dark now, so let's go dark, and that's when. In
the case of the second film, I know the second film could have been better but the writer's strike undermined that a little bit. The third film is the one that I thought they completely shot the bed with. Like, I hate that third film so badly. And then 4 and 5 is just...
It has an hour-long or an hour and a half third act dread. It just keeps like it feels like it's going on for forever dread. Like, God, but that was terrible.
But again, for me, as I said, the 4 and 5 was just bullshit that he should have... Again, Michael Bay should have quit with the third film and then let people...
Yes. Yeah.
But he's like a kind of one of those douchebag, mean-spirited types who just no, fuck you, is my material and I had to do it this way, and
he gets money and people come in to see the movies because of my name. I understand that, but dude, it can't just be shit in the bed or giving us shit and expecting us to come and see the next one because it's a Michael Bay movie. You know what he does, right?
What I would say ultimately is that when Travis Knight came along, and look, Travis Knight, in my opinion, I will argue, is the ascended fanboy, right? He's a person who is very, very, you know who Travis Knight's dad is. He's very, very wealthy. He can afford to lose money making his creative projects and whatnot. But he nerdy enough to appeal to fan bases. So that, even though this film does appeal to nerdiness in the most aberrant, kind of nostalgic ways, which I kind of a little annoyed by, frankly, it still was pretty good, like, for what it did. And as I said, the second they showed Cybertron and what they was doing with it, I was like, wow, all they nailed this dread. It's goofy bullshit. It's goofy bullshit, and a lot of the technology don't make sense, and robots don't make sense. It's like, whatever, it's robots, space robots bullshit. But
ever since when the third movie came, when the first trailer came, I was like, all right, please give us some Cybertron stuff. I know you're hinting at Dark of the Moon, which was the title there, but it's like, come on, give us some Cybertron shit now, please. And we didn't even get that. We didn't get that.
Yeah. And they just did that, and with this movie now, they decided to do Cybertron, do a good job, and it's like, wow, we should have gotten this all along, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, it's a movie that works on its own, even if you're not a Transformers nerd, because they just decide to just do the typical 80s affect stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's basically E.T., right? That's what it was. They come up with a bunch of contrivances as to why Bumblebee doesn't talk, which I hate. I hate that, and I hated it in the old movie. I hated it in this. They decide to make the action clear. Like, holy shit, they decided to do that for the first time. Why they couldn't do this 10 years ago?
And this was always a criticism that the Transformers movies got ever since the second one. big lumbering machines, and why they using fists? Like you have weapons, Jed. Like use that shit. Yeah, have your punches and kicks, but don't just rely on punches and kicks to the point that I can't make out what's going on, and it feels like a head-on collision between two trucks.
But here's another thing too. He just understand how the transformations work. Like, okay, the transformations in the old Blade formers was just this kind of hard mechanical tinkering thing, which I didn't hate, but it was still obnoxious and annoying, especially with the designs. And in this, he just understood how the designs work in context with the transformations, because that is what it worked in the cartoon, right? It feel like this is a part of the car, this is a part of the thing, and you get to see the different versions of Bumblebee with respect to that in the thing. So you see him do the Jeep, then he becomes the buggy, then he becomes the Camaro at the ending, right?
Yeah.
Love it. That is how you had to do that shit in terms of the transfer.
I totally agree, yeah.
And that is such a smart call. And it's like, wow, Michael Bay. Look, I kind of move on from it. But yeah, fuck Michael Bay, Dread. Like, holy shit, he could. Yeah, they couldn't fucking do this, Dread. Wow, Dread. Anyway, movie as is. I thought this movie was pretty decent. For what it was.
It's, I don't want to say a safe movie, but it's quite enjoyable. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, and it's supposed to anyway. It just gives us a reason to give a shit about the Transformers live action movies again, and really the appeal of it, right?
Yeah, no, one thing I liked is all the side characters was great. All the except for one character which I absolutely fucking hated.
Don't tell me it's John Cena.
Who?
Don't tell me it's John Cena.
No, John Cena was great.
Yeah, exactly, because what I like about him, right? And props to Cena as well too. I like that he get this second chance at actually becoming, like that transition to WWE wrestler to A-list actor though, because if you remember way back when, right, when he came out with his first movie, The Marine, which absolutely sucked balls, it's like, oh well. All right, we had to put you on the side. You had to get back to SmackDown now. But I like that he got another chance to really prove himself. And now, he come through really good, not just with blockers this year, which is pretty good, but also with this movie here.
Yeah, no, career-wise, he kind of just doing the part that was carved away by Rock, right? You just kind of doing the thing where you're playing it funny and you're going straight forward with it, but you're playing it funny and you don't know what to do in your role, even though your character halfway. Don't play the character too seriously because nobody will take you seriously. You're a wrestler. Do the kayfabe aspect of that. And I got a vibe that he was supposed to be like a G.I. Joe member or something like that, because like what he was doing with him in terms of like the action, it was unclear to me. Like why have him be such a big memorable role? Like, but they want to remake G.I. Joe with him, which I wouldn't mind, because I thought
wouldn't mind that neither.
Yeah,
that's actually a really cool theory as well. Like if they're actually serious about it.
Right.
Yeah, cast John Cena character as that G.I. Joe, and don't disrespect the previous G.I. Joe movies, but please set the shit in the 80s now, please.
The problem with those movies is that they decided to just go cheap with it. The movie was fucking cheap. That's the problem. Whatever. All the side characters I liked. Everybody except for one character. Memo. Fuck that guy. The character's a pointless character. Holy shit. Why was he in this movie?
I don't know, because he just needed this Latino kid to be in the friend zone, basically, which he was.
Total nonsense. Like, I don't know what the point of that was. Because to me, he could have been in, because I know just outright write him out of the movie. Like, that character was totally pointless. Have the little brother, Otis, have him be the side character hanging around with her and coming along for the Avenger with the robot. So it's both him and Steinfeld together now, and I thought they were great together. Pamela Alden as his mom. Pamela Alden as his mom. Sorry, not Alden, Adlin, or whatever it is.
Adlin.
Great. Right.
Yeah,
I thought she was
great. She was great, yeah.
And because I like her from WCK's so I like her she was great in this she was a great side character. The guy who played the dad, he's a great comedian as well.
Yeah, I know he was pretty funny, man. His face is familiar though, even though I can't remember what show. But I thought, just with screen presence, although he was pretty funny, man, and he had those a couple of really funny awkward dad moments with Healy. By the way, I thought that Healy Steinfeld was great as well. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of her acting and singing wise, but I thought that she was solid in this, and he actually did a really decent song, which you heard during the pre-closing credits. She did the song for that. So yeah, really great performance from her, man. Overall.
Right. So, well, I know Steven Schneider from Broad City. I watched that show. So he was in that, and he's pretty funny in that show. So to see him in this,
right. That is where he's from. Right. He's not the coach, right?
Yeah, the boyfriend.
From the gym, right? From the gym. That's him. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that same dude dotishness about him in this, and I was like, yeah, I was liking him in this. Who else?
Well, we didn't talk about Bumblebee himself, just as a character.
I'm gonna get to that, but I just wanted to talk about all these side characters before we get the actual Transformers themselves and the moments they had. Again, what I thought they nailed and what I hated. But to me,
as far as side characters that I didn't really care for, although I understand the aesthetic of it, was the antagonist to Charlie, right? The high school kids, the deals. They even have the token Asian chick there in the middle. I'm like, this is like straight out of a John Hughes movie. You're like, bro. But I get the point. I get, but it's like, all right, this is way too archetypal.
Yeah, you get the feeling that there are two scripts, and they decided to keep this stuff in the movie now.
Right.
Like they had a bunch of different scripts, and they keep this stuff in the movie, which was so stupid. I had to cut all that shit out. To me, her working she little shitty summer job, and then there's that one scene with them in the thing was fine. Why she decided to go to dive with them was nonsense, because they had to make the diving a thing, whatever.
Yeah, and when it actually was a thing, I was like, wait, that really? That's what it all led up to? Okay.
Right.
No, right. Yeah.
What's the product is that anyway, halfway with the summer job, and to me stuff with the mechanics was great.
Yes,
I was enjoying with you two old fellas, right? The older mechanic and then the other guy was fixing the car, and she was like, well, she helping out, and he like, hey, this young girl, she real sharp though. I was enjoying that. Right? It was cool, it was actually smart, it felt like, oh, this is a good character, and you get a feeling about this character and how they establish her, she understands cars and she understands how to fix shit and make it work. I was loving all of that. But I get to the Transformers now, right?
Yeah.
Right, they finally did the whole Prime with the Prime not showing his mouth thing. That's one thing I really feel in Bay's movies. Why does Prime have a mouth? Prime have the mask on. Why Prime have a mouth? Fuck that.
Because we have to see him speak.
Yeah.
Right. And I also like that we didn't hear the I am Optimus Prime. Like Michael Bay literally had Optimus say that twice in the last movie, Dread. I am Optimus Prime. We know.
I saw that with his Peter Cullen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He returns once again. I'm glad that he's alive to keep doing these movies, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad that he clearly liked this material better in terms of his talking, because he feel like he had so much more energy doing this role because of this. He was just perfect for that. And then they set up the scene pretty decent in terms of like, well, the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots. Love it.
Yeah,
it was love it sequence.
Glad that we saw Shockwave. Few other characters. Starscream was there. I was like, word, okay. I thought we were to see a little Megatron. It's either Megatron or Starscream was supposed to be in it. Well, a bit more, but we had to take about time and really what the story and who is front and center here basically. The villains themselves in this case is Shatter and Dropkick. I think that's their names. Voiced by Angela Bassett. Did not know it was her.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
I didn't know it was her, but she had a great voice there. And Justin Theroux. I was like, what? Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that dynamic where Dropkick is the type of person who'll be like, all right, blast these humans. And Shatter will be like, no, wait. Let's converse with these primitive beings. You know what I mean? I like that. That was dope. That dynamic.
It's a shame that, because if we got this 10 years ago, what it would have started off as a kind of Bumblebee story, as Bumblebee starting it off, just like how they did in the Bay film, but it would have escalated properly by showing Prime and whatnot. I'm not sure if this movie making money. I'm not sure how well it's making money. I don't think it is, but we could totally get a Prime sequel with this now and make it proper now. And there's the sad part is that, people are not going to go out to say it, but they're going to complain about Michael Bay, messing up our childhood, but you went to see his movie, and his movie made millions of dollars. So whatever. Now you can come back and get away with the bullshit.
Yeah. I would like to do five movies for you to get fed up of Michael Bay. So when somebody new come in to do something different and change things up, you give up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
It's sad. It's sad, you know.
And I would argue still that Michael Bay poisoned the well a little bit. I would argue that. Yeah, I do think he bum rushed his way to make sure that fifth movie existed, no matter how incoherent and stupid it was. And just to say, all right, I'm gonna just mess up the law and do all this. I get that feeling. Something like kind of conspiracy thing, but it really felt like that to me. Whatever.
Yeah. Also, well, just in terms of Bumblebee, I didn't say anything about him. I actually pretty liked his character. Especially when he had to do the action scenes, you know, the sort of dramatic scenes. The heartwarming scenes, of course, with him and Heidi Steinfeld were great. Of course, he had to have the goofy moments, especially like that one scene I was spoiling the trailer where he was in the living room and just smashing shit up and everything like that. But it made for a really, really like light-hearted moment. So I dug that.
At first, I hated that because I thought, they're just going to make Bumblebee dumb instead of like an actual competent soldier and whatnot. But they did justify it. He's effectively brain damaged in the story. His memory banks and sort of information went things, so he basically reset himself to like effectively an infant now. That made some sense to me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that.
A couple more things, right? I thought that the music was pretty good. It's done by Dario Marianelli, not Steve Jablonski, who's done one too many Transformers movies in his career. So, you know, the score was pretty good. Also, as far as pacing goes, it's good for the most part. Although I find that in the second act it was a little sluggish, and in the third act, I wish that the ending could have been a lot stronger.
And this, I'd argue all this is because of the Memo character. That Memo character, or Memo, whatever the name is, Memo, whatever it is.
Memo, yeah.
Memo, right. Because of that character, to me, they just had to do all this side bullshit things. Like, you had to go to, TP the girl's house for some reason. And
like there was no point to that.
Cut all that shit.
And they really tried to replicate the Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox moments with Bumblebee, you know, playing that billboard 80s jams basically, you know, or whatever it is that they had in the film. Also, there's a couple of like weird editing moments. Like there's one scene in particular that really stood out to me in the worst way, right? Which is where Haley's character's mother drives off with Bumblebee, right? Unbeknownst that she doesn't know that Bumblebee is a Transformers, of course, right? And you see Haley on this bike, and then it's like, okay, well, I gotta drive you to the hospital because blah 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 blah. So what happened to the bike? They never really established that. It's just next scene, then the car driving. Like, what happened to the bike?
I ignore the bike.
And how Haley just like suddenly know where the mother is. Like she just catches up to her. There's just she's going to the hospital. All of a sudden, she's right behind her. Like what? She mentioned she was going to the vet, but I agree with all of that. Stuff like that. That's kind of weird. Like how they put it together. But other than that, I thought that the movie overall was pretty decent. Like I say, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, and in terms of like Transformers movies, it just gives you an enjoyable story involving one Transformer for once. And for the most part, it works too. And I would say right off the bat that this is my second favorite Transformers movie, which is saying a lot, because I would say first one, hands down, is the 2007 Michael Bay one. This one comes at second place. I could kind of wrestle with this and the 1986 animated movie. You know, I could wrestle with that for days, for hours, sorry. But all them other Transformers live action movies could just suck salt. I don't care for none of them. None.
Yeah, I actually do prefer this to 2007 film. So just because of the look and the aesthetic and the affect. They just make sure and get that done so well, in my opinion. I was like, they nailed this. Sorry. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is what we should have gotten 10 years ago. I'm sorry. The Bay films had its moments that I kind of liked, but Michael Bay just like really didn't give a fuck though, and it just annoyed me.
And it's a shame, Jay. Like in your fifth movie, although I know I repeated myself from last year, but in your fifth movie, Dread, all the fans that just stick with you, even though while you were doing your shit, and this is what you give them, Dread? Nah, man. Unforgivable. But Michael Bay aside, let him do his thing. No, Transformers is in someone else's hands. I don't know what the future for the franchise will be, but to be honest, I'm not looking forward to another Transformers movie in a hurry. If we do get one, great, but I'm not really excited or looking forward to the next one. I'm not saying any movie didn't do enough for me to be like, all right, I can't wait to see what they do next. But just like,
Yeah.
we've seen so much enough with Transformers there, so I appreciate the effort. Don't get me wrong, and it still works. But now it's just like y'all just need to come with something a little bit different. I don't know if they're gonna keep the '80s aesthetic going forward, but I don't know. I just really don't know what they're gonna do next. You know what I mean? They just really had to come really, really good to convince me to get back and to get involved with this franchise going forward.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. It's a shame. But Travis Knight did try though, and I mean, I really do rate him though. I love Cooper with the Two Strings. That was one of my favorite movies of 2016, I think it was. And yeah, I just want to see man just make more and more great films. But for what's worth with this movie here, I'm feeling a very light, 4 out of 5, man. This is worth checking out on the big screen in particular. I didn't see it in 3D, and to me, it didn't really add to my enjoyment at all. But yeah, still go check it out, man. If you hated the Michael Bay movies, this will be a breath of fresh air for you. If you love the old like Generation 1 Transformers, then you'll be in love with this for the most part, I guess. But if you're expecting this movie to do a lot of like unique and new things, you'll be disappointed by this. I know some people were disappointed because of that. Like they just got like, I don't know, Transformers withdrawal by now. So it's like this is just whatever 80s. Yeah. Oh, we do it Transformers, but it's like an E.T. story. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I think for what it is, it's a solid film, man. So check it out if you haven't.
Right. Yeah, it's just so unfortunate that the Transformers franchise has been cinematically, let's just say, poisoned because of Michael Bay's behavior, and it's really a shame and unfortunate that this, you know, in our collective memory in terms of what a modern Transformers franchise could have been, we couldn't get this instead. It's just sad. But yeah, this new movie I give it a low IMAX.
Alright, I thought I was gonna say a low CC. I was like, oh,
no.
Is that bad?
No. It's like a low. You know, I give it a low. You know, IMAX. It's very good for what they decide to do. It's a shame we didn't get this 10 years ago because right? Could have gotten this 10 years ago and we'd have been thinking about Transformers much differently than what we got.